it by that linear function. I will remind you of this. How many zeros did we originally have?
I think
we had 2.
Yeah, 2.
Okay? We had 2. Now we are multiplying it by a linear, and so now how many zeros does it have? 3. Now it has 3. We have a third 0. Okay. And that third 0 is coming from the new factor, the x minus 2. So what do I need in order to be able to sketch this polynomial?
Everything.
I need to graph that linear.
Yes.
I need to get to that polynomial, but I need this factor first to understand what's happening, which is why we talked about, hey, it has what y-intercept? -2. Remember, I can set this equal to 0, and what does x equal? 2. Right? And I'll point this out. For those of us who are struggling with lines and graphing using the slope, how many points do you need to graph a line?
You need 2.
You only have to have 2.
Yeah.
So if you can find your y-intercept and find your x-intercept, you have all that you need to be successful here. So there's my line.
So you'll have another root.
And so that's what we'd want to notice is there is going to be a double root. And so I know, who was it, Brady, you were talking about it bouncing over here, right? Like you're like, oh, it's a double root over here. But notice how many times is one of the factors going through the x-axis here? Only once.
Yes.
Where do we have the 2 factors going through?
Right there.
That's where it's going to be a double root. That's where it's going to bounce. And so you got to pay attention to that. Now we intellectually know that, but let's see what that actually looks like in a second. Now, I do want to point this out. G of x, what was the original equation? Was it 2x plus 1 times x minus 2?
Yep.
And then we dilated that by?
0. X minus 2. Yes.
So I want to point this out. Like, knowing that, we had 2 zeros, we dilated, we created another 0. So how many zeros should we have? 3. We should have 3 zeros. This would be what degree? Third degree. But how many x-intercepts do we have?
We have 3 x-intercepts.
Look again.
2.
Wait, I thought you was asking if we had the third degree.
So remember, and I'm pointing this out for a reason. This is a simple thing that we need to pay attention to and is on your demonstrated
Double
understanding.
roots.
When we have double roots, do we always have the same number of x-intercepts as zeros? No. Okay? We've got 3 zeros, but we have how many x-intercepts?
2.
We only have 2 of them.
Yes.
That's it. We have 3 zeros, but only 2 x-intercepts. If you have a higher multiplicity, it changes how many x-intercepts you have.
You said
Notice, this is x equals -1/2. That's an x-intercept. But both of these give me x equals 2. So how many x-intercepts do I have? 2, but 3 zeros. So keep that in mind, okay?
Yes.
That is something to pay attention to. Now, at this point though, remember, and a lot of us are doing this pretty well, but we've got to actually make sure we get our factor in there. If we don't have the factor, it's hard to move forward. But, Tyler, my parabola right here, positive or negative values. What are you sniffing? What are you sniffing?
What?
Whoa.
Don't make it seem like that, please.
It just makes me worry.
It's lotion, bro.
Okay, just making sure.
Think I'm over there crying, man.
Listen, crazier things have happened in high school classrooms.
My fault,
okay?
bro. My fault.
All right. So, positive or negative, Tyler? Positive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Cameron, down here, are these values positive or negative? They're negative. Okay. So, Caden, what do I get when I take a positive and I multiply it by a negative?
Don't you get a?
Hold on.
Okay.
You have no clue what happens when you take a positive number and multiply it by a negative.
It's a positive.
I know.
Preston,
No.
if you don't want to be helpful, don't talk today.
It's
I
negative.
ain't in the mood.
Negative. Caden, negative.
Positive times a negative is negative.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
I will send you to another classroom the next time you do that.
Which one?
One where you get to sit silently for the entire
Oh yeah, send him. Yeah, send him that
not
outside
troll
room.
people.
Yeah.
So a
boy
positive
don't
times
play.
a negative is a negative. So when I look to the left of this x-intercept,
Yes.
my polynomial has what type of values?
Negative.
Negative values. Boom. Okay?
What?
Now I look in between my 2 x-intercepts. John, my linear factor. Does the linear factor have positive or negative values here?
Negative.
Negative, okay. Why are they negative again, the one?
Huh?
Why are these negative?
It's under x-axis.
Below the x-axis, beautiful, okay. Chris,
Got you.
the parabola right here, positive or negative values? Negative.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Macario, what's a negative times a negative? So, when I look in between these x-intercepts, should my polynomial be above or below the x-axis? Above, that's it. And then turn back around to get to my 0. Now remember, we already said that that root is a what? A double root. So it should what? Bounce. Let's check though. Let's use multiple resources to be successful here. My quadratic, is it positive or negative? And my linear? And what's a positive times a positive? So, does it bounce and then turn right back around?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, for all of us freaking out about the demonstrating understanding, that's all it is figuring out if my factors have positive or negative values and multiplying them. That's it. That's all it is. Please don't make it harder than that.
Yeah.
No. No. Give me a second first.
We doing Hero Friday?
Not the regular.
Shut up, bro.
Okay. So,
Excuse me, guys. Talk to Rooney. Trying to get your fade out the camera, boy.
alright. So listen up. We're going to get a little bit of practice with the lesson 4 task before lunch. And then we're going to be doing the demonstrate your understanding after lunch. But before that, hey, excuse me. Am I still talking? Thank you. Okay, so we're going to work on lesson 4 task to help you continue practice dilating factors and getting a polynomial from them. Before that, Taj, did you want to do your Hero Friday today? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
All right, talk to us. Who's your hero? Why?
Alright, so my hero. Why y'all laughing already? Game?
Taj, don't be sensitive about it. You got this.
Alright. What do?
Hey.
Alright. So my hero today is. My hero is my brother. So I just try to be like him every day in certain categories. Where we be doing stuff in life. So that's it right now.
All right, awesome. Thank
Certain categories.
Ladies,
you. He said certain categories.
What are
Not all
those
of
categories
them.
you don't want to include?
I'm not saying
He doesn't need to tell us which categories do you want to.
Don't say football.
Hey, Mike.
You don't even play football.
This is his Hero Friday, right? Okay. Which categories do you want to fall in there?
Actually going to college and whatnot.
That's a
What
good.
college you
That's
going
what you
to?
want to do.
Whoa, that's a lot of business right there.
Detroit.
Troy.
University.
I thought he went to a different college.
No.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So.
So.
Doesn't matter.
Yo, guys, let's calm down, guys. Let's calm down.
All right. Hey. Excuse me. I need your attention. I need y'all to remember the fundamental theorem of algebra. The foundation. Hey, Kate. The foundation of everything with polynomials is this. An nth degree polynomial is going to have how many roots? An nth degree polynomial. So if I were to tell you f of x equals 7x to the n plus 4x to the n minus 1 plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 7, how many zeros would this function have?
Excuse me.
Let's say this.
What's that first one?
N is greater than 2.
Oh,
So it's going to have n zeros. It doesn't matter, my whole point is, it doesn't matter what this is, whatever the degree is, whatever that highest power is, that's how many zeros it's gonna have.
Indeed.
And however many zeros it has,
It's how many zeros you put on the
graph.
Graph, yeah.
But I was also gonna say, however many zeros it has, that's gonna be the what of the equation. Starts with a D. Degree, right? However many zeros it has, that's gonna be my degree. Alright? Now, I know some of us need some practice with these things. And so I want you to turn to page 170 that you tore out of the book. And you're going to have two linear factors there. All I want you to do, you can ignore the directions. I just want you to sketch.
Hey, bro, come on now. One, come on, the one. It wasn't even
Said 170.
One. If you walk all the way over here to talk to Cameron and he's the one talking, you're still engaging. Page 170.
Okay, that was
Why you put that? You gonna learn too, get over that.
So that I had that nigga.
You talking while I'm trying to get us to do some learning.
Hey guy.
So, page 170, we have the functions h of x and L of x, and we are multiplying them. The lines are already given. I just need you to work with your group. So get out page 170 and sketch what h of x times L of x would be and identify the type of function.
3 and 3rd.
Okay, so ID the type of function and sketch a graph of it based on those factors. Let's go. And it's not that, I'm not frustrated if we are struggling, I'm frustrated that we have such a negative attitude about it. Like, your attitude matters. Well, I'll turn the temperature up in a second, but your attitude matters. Have a positive attitude. Jaquel. So, now I need us to pay attention to this, because now I'm looking in between these two x-intercepts right here. And this note is marking that this line has what type of values. But then it says that the other set is,
Negative. Why is it negative?
that's what I'm wondering.
I
Huh?
don't.
Say, this line is above the x-axis, this line, the set of values are above the x-axis, so that's supposed to be positive. And what's a positive times a positive? Positive. And it should make sense that it's going to go through, because in all reality, is that a single or double root? So it should go through into the positives. And then when I move over to the other side over here, right, so I get back to my 0, and I need y'all to remember this. Please stop, I only have so many markers, I need them to not dry out. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and just say this. Blanket statement across the room. Stop writing on the desk unless it's actually to do math. I get it, it's fun to doodle on your sheet of paper, doodle on the chalkboard, but like, doodling on the desk, where's the markers at? So much money that they give us to buy resources, okay? I've already had to start buying expo markers with my own money, and it's fine, I'm a teacher, I get it, but at the same time, like, I only have so much money.
It's Kenny
I
Rich.
appreciate that.
I saw your house. He got a 2-story mansion.
Never seen it.
And 3
I
trucks.
have a 2-story house.
3 trucks.
Right here, h of x, when I look over here, these values are above the x-axis, so it is positive. These are, and take the time to note a positive times a negative is, so it again should make sense, because what kind of root is this? What multiplicity does it have?
Multiplicity of
1. There's only one factor going through there, so the multiplicity is 1. So it should go through, which it does, into the negatives. Miguel, I'm trying to teach you. Not just you, but you, and you are talking while I'm trying to teach you. So, negatives, positives, negatives. You don't have to be more precise than that, it's just a sketch. But once again, Tyler, what points does our dilated function, our polynomial, have to go through?
Come on with it, man.
You and I talked about this as they
Are
went
you-
into lunch.
are you
It's
talking
gotta
about-
go through the what?
Are you talking about the 8 point? I mean, the 0 point.
It's gotta go through the zeros. Guys, it's gotta go through the x-intercepts. You can make it more complicated, but I need y'all to remember this. Like when I look at this right here, what is this y value? Yeah, it was 8.5 if you look at the L of x linear function. What is this y value for that factor though?
It's like hot.
What's the value though? 0. And guys, what is 8.5 times 0? 0. That's why there's a 0 right here.
It's a little hot.
Like 67, 66.
Next report, people were just complaining about how hot it is, but
Y'all said it was
or how cold it was.
hot.
They were saying it was cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's hot.
Okay, so, alright, so, regardless, 8.5 times 0 is 0. That's why my polynomial has a 0 right
What
there.
they do?
This is about 4.5, but this factor has a 0. What is 4.5 times 0? 0. So, the idea is that we're multiplying the y values. We're multiplying the outputs, and so we share the same zeros, positives times negatives, but we explicitly did this on that Desmos activity. I need y'all to remember, like, when you take notes, the point of those notes is for you to be able to go back and study them later and note things like this and do these practice problems. Check your understanding once we do a lesson. Take your notes, study the concepts, and then apply it in checking your understanding. We've got one more practice problem that we're going to do. It is this one on page, nope, that's not that one. Page 173 is the last practice problem we're doing before the demonstrate your understanding. So, page 173. Let's get up, let's sketch out our graph. Please remember, how many points do you have to have? 2, right? You just need 2. So, graph your y-intercept, graph your x-intercept, and draw your lines for your functions. Let's get to sketching. So, what we're trying to do is create a volume function, and the volume of something is the length times the width times the height. And so what you'll notice is this is my length function, this is my width function, Dewan, and this is my height function. Dilate it to figure out what my volume function would look like if that's my length, width, and height. Okay, so first off, and I should have mentioned this earlier, what type of function was the last one?
Quadratic.
Wasn't it quadratic? Because we had how many zeros? 2 zeros. How many zeros are we going to have here?
3.
1, 2, 3. Remember, each line has 1 0. So what type of function should we get by the end? Cubic function. It has 3 zeros, so it should be cubic. Right? Remember, however many zeros there are, that is what the degree is. So let's get up, let's sketch this cubic, and we got to do it in just a couple minutes, so you have time for your demonstrate your understanding. Yes, we're still doing that. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Can I stop
That's why I
recording?
got it there.
Can I
Is it already
stop
stopped?
recording? No? Can I stop it?
Yes.